Welcome to a whistle-stop tour covering NetSuite financials here at NoBlue. Thank you for taking the time out to consider where NetSuite can add value, in particular the financial system. So very briefly, we'll start with a touch of navigation. I am prompting in a CFO role, and because this is a demonstrator account, we have a number of roles and everything in NetSuite is based on permissions, views that are defined by your role and access capability. NetSuite was one of the original dashboard-based systems way back in its inception, so you can define what appears in your home screen, and it may be configurable or it may be fixed depending on the role. We have areas such as reminders which are driven by your roles and responsibilities, and maybe approval routings that need to be done to manage day-to-day tasks. You have any number of ways to manage KPIs, to have an instant snapshot at the real-time data that's pertinent to decisions and your role. You can have navigation portlets, KPI meters, graphical representations. Key navigation portlets to key areas for a finance role, be that a controller, CFO or otherwise. Or you can have a much more focused role that is perhaps just geared around AR, AP, accounts receivable, accounts payable, or customer service for example. We have the option to do multi-subsidiary management. Now this is based on a hierarchical control on roles. So if we have an EMEA CFO, then they may only be able to see the EMEA group. But if you have control over the entire group or views of the entire group, you'll have access on a consolidated basis in the core-based currency reporting. But you can also change the view by clicking on any one of the subsidiaries to get a snapshot drilled into that particular subsidiary and the associated records. As expected with a finance system, we have all the core menus, so you can have various activities, billing operations, consolidated billing operations. We have an integrated credit return, associated workflows and routings within that can assist with both automated postings and rules. We can set approval routings for intercompany journals, standard journals, imported data integrations, so you can control what's being posted and when. We have also full supplier management including purchase contract, contract management and associated credit terms. We can have links into commission, control of tracking, rule-based payments and incentives, any number of financial reporting. Which again is what we'd expect in any mature system, but they can be geared towards a vertical. For example, we have a manufacturing element within this particular demo dataset. All of the reports both from the standard financial, banking and budgeting, your time and billables if applicable. So you start to build these out to meet your particular needs. We also have the both UK-based and localized across the globe for VAT and tax submissions, including elements such as SII, where required for Spain. NetSuite is quite unique or has always been quite unique in the fact that because it's built in the web, you have the ability from an order perspective or a traceability perspective to do a couple of things. One is the ability to drill down, and you can drill down opening out into a new record. So the ability to take a key KPI, go interrogate that, but actually if need be, look at a certain record, you can then go and interrogate further. Into the breakdown, and one click further, you are into your original transaction. What makes this even more powerful is the fact that we have a related records base, so here we have a commission calculation. But the procure to pay, sales to cash, whether that's a purchase order linked to fulfillment, linked to a bill, they are all linked within NetSuite, so the ability from an order perspective both internally and externally adds massive value. One of the key differentiators of NetSuite is the fact that it can be managed in a segmented way. People will call it tagging, cubing, dimensions. So looking at what is a rudimentary profit and loss, we can collapse. We can have flexible GLs. We can have analytical GL codes for things such as allocation schedules, amortization. And then we can do a lot of things that fall out of the standard finance system. So we can go out of standard context. So if I want to report out of view, I get an instant view, if I want to look at this on accounting period, for example. From the same report, and this applies to all financial reports, we get a truly dynamic view for fast management information and business information unit interrogation, without having to go and create a report, having to export or manipulate data and spend days and days collating as such. We now have standard segmentation, and we have the option to add custom segmentation. So we have classification, department, location, and subsidiary standard segments. NetSuite is the only system that taxes records as they progress through the system, and maybe you'd split that PL out into relevant segmentations that are appropriate. So you can have departments. They could be internal departments, it might be a sales channel, it might be a categorization of products or services, or equally, when we are looking at group management structure, we get to look at the subsidiaries and a particular performance, issues, highlight, and then when you are on the call with a relevant CFO or controller within that area or department within the business, you can start to interrogate the key areas that are flagging and look to be out of the norm to the business practice and what the business is budgeting for. So, as a very whistle-stop tour of NetSuite, we look at financial segmentation, multi-company, multi-currency, multi-language management, with the ability to not have to come in and out of datasets to access historic data. But you will also have all the required security approval processes to make sure that you get a robust system in a well-managed environment that ensures that the financial team retains control while sharing the information to the appropriate other members of the team and company. Thank you very much for taking the time to see our video. Consider NetSuite, and we look forward to hearing from you in due course.